do 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 do. All right, that's good. And we start to solo. Do 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 do. He's like, cut, stop. In fact, I started playing bass like this, like over this bridge. Do 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 do. But then I remember taking the jazz class and being with Marshall Hawkins, who's amazing, who I found out later. He's
Miles
like
Davis's guy.
And I remember I learned all the AC/DC songs.
You worked with Jack Black.
Ooh.
You did a duet with Jack Black.
That was insane. He came into the room, he had his sunglasses on, and he just literally lifted up his shirt and just started doing a belly dance for me.
From the very beginning to the end, the process of American Idol.
But this time it was still Randy, Steven Tyler, and Jennifer Lopez. That was insane. I was like, wow, I get to sing in front of these people?
Come on, give us the dirt here, man.
That was my first time taking mushrooms. I was right here. And then I started to just like swim out.
Jazz them up.
Jazz them up, exactly. Just an old sweet song. Give it to me.
Georgia on my
mind. Casey, welcome to the podcast.
Good to see you.
Fantastic to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Rob. Appreciate it.
You did a show in Prague last night.
Yes, it was awesome. Jazz Doc. You've been there.
Yeah, brilliant place.
Yeah, it was so crazy. They kept asking for encores. And I was trying to get out. I think I had told you, but yeah, I just tried to get out of doing the encore. I mean, I did one encore. Then I started hugging everyone in the audience and went to the back, and they just kept clapping. So I had to do like 3 more, and it was great. I love the vibe here. I love the vibe.
Because it's on a boat, so there's no escape really, is there?
Right, yeah. I was thinking of jumping off into the water. Yeah, maybe next time. That's a grand escape. Yeah.
No, Prague is a great city with lots of brilliant venues. One where we're today, dopeYEAH is an amazing private music venue.
It's insane. And
you've had to walk around.
I look forward to playing this upright bass. This is just part of, I think, the museum. So now we get to play it. Such a cool place. Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'd like to start off from the very beginning, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
And so where you grew up in Texas.
Yep.
Part of your journey was Texas, then Chicago, then California. I think is that the right?
Good. Yes. Yeah.
line?
Yeah. I was born in Austin, Texas, and then was there for about 4 years. Then moved to Chicago. My parents were in the industry. My dad is a producer of films. My mom is a screenwriter. So he got a gig working on a TV show in Chicago. And then we're like, well, after that, he decided to leave, and we moved to Idlewild, California, a small little mountain town in the mountains, 2 hours east of LA. And then there's an art school up there. We just happened to find it, and I went there. And so like I would consider myself more of a Californian because I'm from California since I was 10 years old. And so now I'm 34 now, and I've lived in Idlewild. And then right after I did the American Idol show, I moved to LA. Los Angeles, when I was 21 years old.
And your dad taught at that art school as well, didn't he?
Yes. And he taught film, and I actually was my first job. I've never had like a regular job. I've always been in the arts. And so I've had, my very first paid job was working for him. I was his assistant.
Right.
And I would film the kids learning how to work the camera. And so I would edit the behind the scenes of the kids learning how to use camera equipment in a camera school. And so that was for a 3-week summer program, and it was such a cool. I learned how to edit, and so like it's been useful now because like now I use these editing programs to edit my own music videos. So it's pretty cool. And so yeah, my dad knows all about film, and he loves edit. He's editing right, even though he's retired, he loves to edit still in his free time.
So he plays guitar as well, and your mum sings and plays piano.
Yes, yeah. He plays old sea shanties. He was in the Navy,
Great.
So he learned a couple on the road. And then my mom reads music, very musical family, and she's a really good harmonizer. Every time we do karaoke, we sing "Bye Bye Love," and she goes "Bye Bye Love," so we can do the same thing. And so
Right.
it's good to be. It's not like, again, they're more of the movie industry, but I'm really lucky because I heard some guitar strums and some good voices around when I was growing up. In fact, my cousin, he played clarinet, and then another cousin of mine played guitar, and so we would have polka jam sessions,
Wow.
for Christmas. It was crazy.
So what music were they listening to, your mum and dad at home?
Yeah, my dad didn't listen to a lot of music, but my mom would listen to Celtic music, and
So Irish traditional music? Or-
yeah, for sure. Just a little bit here and there. But I remember when she would drive me to school every morning, we would listen to the Beach Boys and the Beatles, and that's like one of my fondest memories, and that's kind of how I got into music. I think I was listening to, oddly enough, I was just on a cruise ship gig, and how's that lighting? That looks good. Yeah, make it more purple. Sorry. Yeah, can we change it to blue? A little closer. No, sorry. Okay. No, but I was recently getting interviewed on a cruise ship gig that I just did. Dave Cause and Friends at Sea, and they were like, "When did you first get introduced to like music?" And it was Beach Boys. I was thinking of Surfin' Safari. It's kind of a blues, right? And so I just remember hearing like the background vocals. There was like, "Come on, Dubbo, Surfin' Safari," and then like a voice was going, ah. Really, it was a different chord, but I was like, "Mom, do you hear that? There's something weird going on with that chord. They're just literally just going down one step and then going back and up." And I didn't even know what a step was.
Sure.
But like listening to that, listening to the Beatles, like Nowhere Man, and just listening to all these songs, and it really inspired me. And so that's what she was listening to, and then I remember, I would even start to play on it. I don't know how it is over here, but do you have recorders?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Do they call it something?
Yeah, no, it's a recorder.
So we would play recorder, and I'd bring it home, and I'd learn Beatles songs, and actually I'd learn Pokemon songs as well. So that was kind of the start of getting into the musical vibe.
And then, well, you went from recorder to piano and then clarinet. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I was learning piano at the same time because my parents were like, "Why don't you just learn something?" And we had an electric piano at the house, but I went from recorder to clarinet just because it's the same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit longer. And I remember my piano, but I got into the bass, the upright bass, because my piano teacher had an upright bass just laying around, and she was also a bass player on the side, but she taught piano. And I remember I was actually learning Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Fantastic.
And I just looked over at the bass. I'm like, what is that? She's like, "It's a bass." I was like, what? That, I didn't even know what a bass was. And then I plucked it. Here,
Yeah, sure, go for it.
I remember I just did this.
You're like, whoa.
I was like, okay, I want to play that. and then the rest is history. And then she was my bass teacher for a while up until Idlewild Arts when I met Marshall Hawkins. Yeah.
So, but before you went properly onto the upright bass, you were playing electric bass.
Yes. So I plucked the thing, and I was scared of it because I was like, that's a little bit too big. So my dad got me an electric bass, and I remember I learned all the AC/DC songs. This was before I even knew what jazz was, and so I learned Hell's Bells. Stiff Upper Lip was one of my favorite songs, and it was so cool. I wanted to be a rock star, and it was way easier than guitar. Guitar, you have to do this, but bass, I could just literally. In fact, I started playing bass like this, like over this bridge, do 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 do, rather than I didn't do it the right way. But it's just worrying about one note, and you can be on stage with the rock stars and just. And then also, I mean, Queen is one of my
Another one
favorite.
bites the dust.
Yes, exactly.
The famous bass line.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the starting the starting songs that I started off with on bass were the rock songs.
So your tutor that you mentioned earlier on, I don't know if it was before we got into the podcast, but Marshall Hawkins.
Yeah.
So was he a big influence on you?
Huge. I mean, he's the one that really got me to actually pick up the upright bass because I'd played the bass, and my teacher was Robin Rabins. She lived in Idlewild, and I would just, it would take 5 minutes to get to her house, and I'd learn the piano and the bass. But Marshall was I went to Idlewild Arts, which is a school for the arts. You can go as anything. You could be like a visual artist, or what my dad taught, which was film majored. You could be a dancer, or you could be a musical artist. I went not knowing exactly what I wanted to be. It was called an interdisciplinary arts major, IM for short. And I would take acting classes, I would take music classes, I'd take some dance classes here and there, and I'd take some filmmaking classes from my dad. But then I remember taking the jazz class and being with Marshall Hawkins, who's amazing, who I found out later, he's
Miles
like
Davis's guy.
Miles Davis's guy, yeah, and Herbie Hancock and Shirley Horn and all these crazy big musicians. Like, he has a story about every single jazz
Well, he
musician.
played in that band with Miles Davis, Herbie Hancock, and Tony Williams.
Yeah.
Which is he replaced Ron Carter, which is a huge deal. I mean, they're like giants of jazz.
Yes.
So you kind of struck the jackpot there with a teacher of that level.
It didn't. When we moved to Idlewild, we had no idea who this guy was, and then we found out. And I actually met him. He's what I love about him. He's also constantly trying to learn. Like, he loves woodworking. He was like he's adding on to his house. He's adding another section of his house as we speak. He's
85 now, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah. So he's walking around like with a saw and a hammer. He's crazy. But
Right.
he was also learning how to do orchestral music. Like, I saw him at Idlewild Arts sitting in with one of the orchestral bands, and he was bowing, and he's just like, I'm just trying to learn, bro. And I remember when I first met him, I said, wow, that was really good. I'm excited to work with you. And he said, you're next. Like, almost like passing the torch.
Amazing.
And so it's crazy. But no, he's the reason I play this, and I like to stay true to jazz, not only as a genre, but a way of life. It's improvisation. You never know what's going to happen next. You don't rehearse too much for a song or a gig, because you can over-rehearse, and then that takes the fun out of it. And I was telling you backstage, but basically, I remember, we hit the head. If we're going to practice for a recital at Idlewild Arts, I'm a freshman, and we start playing blues. Do-do, 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 do-do. All right, that's good. And we start to solo. Do-do-do-do-do-do. He's like, cut, stop. And we're like, what? Are we doing something wrong? He's like, no, save it. Save that energy. And I feel like you might know this, but like, you always want to record the rehearsal, because that rehearsal is
first take.
Yeah, it's going to be the first take.
Yeah.
And you don't think of it as that, because sometimes you can rehearse it and it's like, that was great. All right, now let's put it down. And then
There's too much brain going on a lot of the time.
Yeah, what's that?
There's too much brain going on.
Exactly. Take the brain out. In fact, I remember my jazz teacher told me, I was playing a gig, and it was electric bass, and I remember I was do. I accidentally stepped on my chord, and so it was plugged into the amp, and so I was just playing. I was like, uh-oh, it's unplugged, and you can't hear my bass. So what I did was I just started scat soloing, and then I as I was scatting, and then the bass solo. Okay, thank God. Then my bass teacher came up to me, and Marshall was like, "That was the best solo I've ever heard. That scat solo." And he's like, I was like, whoa, really? Thanks. He's like, yeah, you weren't using your brain. Because you were like subconsciously it was fight or flight, and you were fighting, and you created some of the best solos you've ever had because you turned off your brain. You know what I mean? Same thing having to, another buddy of mine was like, you know what? I always go on stage having to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Because I focus on the pee and not the music. The music just comes out of me rather than the pee.
So you went to University of Colorado. Was that after you'd worked with Marshall?
Yes, it was. And
that didn't work out too well, did it?
No.
You were studying jazz bass, and just wasn't for you.
It was less free over there.
Why did you go to Colorado? A strange place rather than New York or LA or...
It's funny. I tried out for Berkeley in Boston, and I tried out for New School in New York, and a couple of California places. And to be honest, it might have just been the money.
Right.
I don't know.
It's really expensive to go to this place, like mad money. People don't realize how expensive it is.
And I guess Colorado kind of reminded me of Idlewild with the beautiful mountains, because Idlewild is a small little mountain town, 3,000 people, and then Colorado is a little bit bigger, Boulder, Colorado.
Sure.
But it's got beautiful mountains. It's very naturey. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll be at home in nature. And I'm not dissing it as a school. I think it's a great school for electronics and science. There's some really good science programs there, and they have like one like an astronomical telescope. I guess all of them are astronomical, but it has it's got some of the best science facilities. But as a jazz, I just felt like Idlewild spoiled me because I had 4 years at a high school that was a sleepaway school, but I was a day student, but it felt like a college, and I felt like I got a college education, and then I was going to another school that just felt like another school, and so I met some cool people there, but I actually got sick with ulcerative colitis, and I had to drop out halfway through, which was kind of a blessing in disguise because I was like kind of trying out for American Idol. Every day I would practice my bass, but then I'd put it down and then I'd start to practice my singing. I was like, I'm going to practice going on American Idol. But anyway, Idlewild, those 4 years, I think, made me who I am today. And it made me so it made it possible for me to go on American Idol and play the upright bass and sing jazz and sing just in general, in front of people.
Hats off to Marshall.
All to Marshall. Yeah, got to give it up.
These guys are important in your life, these people who help you on your way. Sometimes people don't remember these people as they should.
Oh, yeah.
So were you a fan of American Idol? Were you watching it, the series, before you got into it?
Not really. In fact, we made fun of my mom for watching it. She would scream at the television. Me and my dad were like, what is she? She's going crazy. Like, I remember it was David Cook against David Archuleta. It was like season 7 or something like that. And she was just like screaming. She's like, yes, David won. Oh my God, I'm so excited. And my dad and were like, Mom, could you calm down? And then she's like, no, you'd be good on this show. And then we kind of watched season 8.
Right.
And then season 8 was really cool, and it had Adam Lambert and all these guys, and he was a big inspiration for me because he did this version of Ring of Fire that was like almost
Johnny Cash song, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't I fell in. It was like I fell into kind of the Arabic scale. Very beautiful. And I was like, well, maybe I should just bring my upright bass on there. And then I watched season 9 religiously with my mom in Colorado during college. As I was getting sicker, I was like, you know what? This college is not for me. I think I need to try out for American Idol. So then I moved back in with my parents after getting sick and just rehearsed and just practiced for that audition to be on American Idol. And Idlewild really, it made my jazz. And Marshall Hawkins, he's also a brilliant drummer and piano player, and he taught me chords on the piano, like not just like do do do.
Sure.
He'd go like boom do do do, like those fourths. Like he would teach me some really advanced things, and so I'm really thankful for that. Just not even the upright bass, just music as a whole. What did you say earlier? You're not working for yourself. You're not working for this person.
You serve the song.
You're serving the song. Yeah, you're serving your music. This is what we do it for. And if it's not for music, it's just about ego, and we don't do that. So let's serve the music.
So I think it might be interesting to talk about the whole journey. It's a long-winded question, but I think it's worth doing for a lot of people out there listening. If you could talk us through from the very beginning to the end, the process of American Idol. So, you're at home, you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to give that a go. Mm-hmm. And so what was the process? So you go on the American Idol website and find out where they're rehearsing next?
Yes. So we saw that there's a tour of auditions, and they say, we're going to start in New York, go to the South, go to Texas, go to San Francisco, and then we're done. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to try out. Let's go do it. I'll bring my melodica, the little piano flute.
Sure.
And so I go there. So I decide, let's go to Texas. So if I mess up in Texas, all I have to do is fly back to California, try out for San Francisco, and then I'll be good. So I had my plane ticket booked from Texas, and then I was going to fly to San Francisco, meet my parents, and then we'd drive back down.
Sure.
But I was lucky enough to make it in Austin. And that was a crazy process because what you do is you fly over, you get in, you make it. There's 10,000 people. It was the University of Texas, something like that. and you go into like their basketball court, and it's just completely filled with people singing and practicing. Oh, and it's just like it's a little scary.
Chaos,
It's
nearly.
chaos, exactly. And so Ryan Seacrest comes in. It's really cool. You see him. He's like, he looks like a little
Like he's
ant.
the host of American Idol.
Correct. Yeah. So he's like Art and Deck, right? The British version.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly,
Yeah. So they set up 10 booths, and each booth. This is what they don't show you. This is like four rounds before you actually get to the TV. There's 3 before that you don't see.
Sure.
And what happens is they have the 10 booths. Each one of them is like sectioned off by little curtains. There's 2 judges, like they're executive producers or some people who it's associated with the show, and they line you up 4 by 4. So I'm literally standing in a line with like a group of 4 here, and 3 other people next to me.
Right.
And luckily, I feel like the position really matters, because if someone gets in before you, they could be like, all right, well, we got that person, so we don't need another person. And so literally they go like, it gets to my line, we go up to the producers, and again, it's chaos. You have to like sing really loud. And so I remember they said, you sing, stop, you sing, stop, you sing, stop. And then they go to me. And here's the trick. I mean, listen, you got to break the rules sometimes. They say you can't have any instruments, but I had my melodica, so I was hiding it, and I did this, and I went, ooh, use it as like a tuning fork or something like that. And then I went, scoop, doo ba doo ba doo doo doo. I don't need no doctor, yeah, because I know what's saving me. And I remember the whole time, I was having a good time, like great time, but they were just like this. And it's scary. That's scary,
sure.
but I just kept going. And I remember it when they had their clipboard, and they're like, I was like, what is going on? And so then they're like, can you sing something else? And then I forgot what I sang. Maybe, just like the ocean under the moon, give me your heart, make it real, or else forget about it. And so they're like, okay. And they said, you 3 go home. You made it through to the next round. And that was insane. And like literally, I would say, there's 10 booths, 4 people at each one. You'd probably hear someone get through and an applause every 5 minutes. So it's like, out of that 10,000, I think about 200 people made it. And so I felt like as soon as I made it past that round, I felt very confident that I was going to keep going. Yes. And so, I used the story. I was like, well, maybe I could use this ulcerative colitis story, but I kind of don't want to be known for that. So I said I'm a film camp counselor, with my dad, and that's kind of what the thing said. This is Casey Abrams, 19 years old, film camp counselor, So then there's 2 more rounds. There's the producer round and the executive producer round, where the first round you're just just talking to the people. They want to get your story, mind you. This is 2 months after the 10,000 seat. So they're like, okay, now you have to come back to Texas. So now my parents are like, oh no, we have to fly him out one more time.
Right.
But we fly out there, and I remember that day. I did.
And what's the setup? Setup in Texas this time?
It's at a hotel, and each little room is like conference center. So you go into a little room, and it's like a little bit higher up producers. And you sing for them, and they said, okay, you're on to the next round. And then the next round, they set up like one of the big conference rooms to look like the actual set. So they want to see what you look like up against their background of.
Is that in Hollywood?
What?
Is that in Hollywood in LA?
No.
That's
Still in Texas. Still in Texas, yeah.
Okay.
And so yeah, they use the set background so they can see what you look like. And I remember they had told me a really fun moment, like the executive producer, it was Nigel Lithgow, and I'll look it up. I can't remember. He was another nice British fellow. And we were kind of supposed to learn a Carrie Underwood song because we were in Texas. And so all of us practiced it, and I was like, I don't really know that song. So I went up and I sang it, and he was like, okay, that was good. Can you sing the Carrie Underwood song? And I remember I was like, no. And everyone laughed. And then he's like, you know what? I think you're a breath of fresh air. Let's get you on the show. You've passed. And I was like, thank God. And so then I think a week passes, still in Texas, go back to that same hotel, and now it's the judges. The judges are there. And we didn't even know who the judges were going to be, but we found out a week before. J-Lo. Because it used to be Simon Cowell, Randy Jackson, and I think Ellen was actually the year before us, and Paula Abdul had left.
Sure.
But this time it was still Randy, Steven Tyler, and Jennifer Lopez. That was insane. I was like, wow, I get to sing in front of these people. And I remember I was the last of the day. So out of the maybe 100 people that made it to that next round, I was the last. So I was like, and I saw people with, chicken outfits and angels, playing harps. And and I saw them, they're like, oh man, I got cut. So I was like, am I one of the jokes? I was like,
Right.
it could go either way because I'm really singing at the top of my lungs. And maybe that's a stupid thing, because everyone else is like, I love you, baby. And here I'm like, oh, baby, singing really, really loud. And I was like, am I just loud or am I good? I don't know.
Sure.
So then as soon as I went in there, I was like, okay, I'm all right, because they're like, you're on to the next round. And then I made it to Hollywood Week, and then I had to wait 2 more months to fly back. And we were living in Idlewild at the time, so all I had to do was, I was one of the only contestants that would drive. I drove my car down from Idlewild to the hotel in Pasadena where we had Hollywood Week. And that was insane. There was a couple times where I thought I was going to get voted out, and I remember crying in the shower because we had a group round where we were supposed to do never met a girl who makes me feel the way that you do. And so we practiced it where we each sang a line. Never met a girl who made you feel as you do. It's all right. The next person too. But then it turns out that as soon as we got there, like an hour before we're supposed to go on, they're like, we were actually supposed to sing, one of us is supposed to sing the whole song, then the next person sings the whole song. So it was 5 times longer than we should have, than we thought. So we had practiced, we had under practiced, and so I was like, oh no, we're going home. But I made me and someone else made it through to the next round and then 3 of the other people got cut. So I was really lucky to keep going. I don't know. I just feel blessed that I just kept going, and then the live rounds happened, and that happened. We moved to CBS Studios in a part of LA. I can't remember exactly, and that was crazy. I remember feeling some adrenaline because I remember I was singing "Have You Ever Seen the Rain," and I forgot the first lyric. And like I was just, they're like, all right, here's Casey Abrams. Here's the next song. Have you ever seen the rain? And then it does like a 60-second thing where it's like goes into the backstory of what happened. And I just remember I was like playing. I had my bass and I was like, have you ever seen the rain? Oh, wait, that's not the right lyric. That's the chorus. Yeah, that's the chorus. I was like, what's the first lyric? And I had to like, what's going, like 10 seconds. I was like, does anyone know? And then thank God, I remember Spence, he came out, he had his phone and he looked it up really quick. Someone told me long ago, they're like 5, 4. I was like, thank you so much. And I played the song. I feel like I killed it. And then afterwards, Ryan Seacrest comes up and I just remember feeling the shooting pain down my spine.
Sure.
It was adrenaline. I must have been on adrenaline. And I felt like I was going to pass out because I think it used everything in my body to like, to stay not, to pretend like I wasn't scared. I don't know if you've ever had that.
Yeah, well, look,
stage.
it's a huge amount of stress. And you're 19.
Right.
You're only a kid at the time. I mean, the amount of, it's hard enough singing in front of audiences, but the stress of everything else that's going on, that whole emotional dynamic is massive, man.
Well, and that's the crazy part is that when you get into the live rounds, it's a whole week of devoting yourself to 24 hours a day, basically, because it's hurry up and wait, right? You're getting to set and waiting for the other contestants. But it's literally a whole week devoted to 1 minute and 30 seconds on stage in front of millions of people. That's really scary. That's a lot of pressure, right? You know what I mean? And then you're talking about over rehearsing. You have to do a sound check. You have to do a visual check. You have to do a line check. The judges are going to watch you doing your rehearsal. So sometimes you might kill it in rehearsal and then you mess up during the actual song. So it's scary. It's
Were you
really
surprised at how well you coped with it?
scary. Yeah.
Because, were you thinking at some, oh my God, this is just too much. But then you think, you just, you go for it. You just say, well, I'm here. I may as well give it my best shot. And then you do it and you go, I'm nailing it. It's all right.
Yeah. I think I was surprised that I made it. And I think it was just confirmation that it's what I should be doing. The fact that I just kept making it. And the fact that they liked the creative input, you know, like that was another thing, is that the producer's like, all right, do you want to sing this song? I was like, yeah, can I sing it with an upright bass? They're like, oh, good idea. You know, I look back at those and I'm like, you know, I feel like I've grown, but at the time I was just, again, it's that fight or flight mode. And I think I was really fighting for my life. And when you have that, it actually makes a really good song. It makes good music.
So what did you learn? What was the first big lesson you learned when you were in the process?
Stage fright. I think I'm not afraid to sing in front of anyone. I could be on camera. I can be in front of the biggest celebrities and sing my heart out and feel good about it. I think it's just literally confidence. That's really what I learned. I learned how to be confident, especially, like, again, that's a lot of pressure. Celebrities. I remember there was a time where Gordon Ramsay, Brad Garrett, all these big celebrities were in the audience, and you have to sing for these people, and J-Lo and Steven Tyler and Ryan Seacrest. So you really have to nut up or shut up. It's really confidence, and that's what I feel like. Ida Wild Arts, I learned music. American Idol, I learned how to perform and how to not get scared, how to just be brave.
And how to take criticism?
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal sometimes, the criticism.
It can be brutal. And I feel lucky compared to a lot of people. I think I had one bad comment once, but I'm always down for criticism. I'm open for it. And I don't know about you, but I read all the comments on my Instagram and all the YouTubes. It's like, I like a good criticism. I like to, you know, I want to grow.
Yeah, I do too, but then I want to go around with a machete to their house. But
Okay, yeah, we can do that. I like that. I like machete too, yeah. Do you have a machete?
Joking, folks.
That's my weapon of choice too. I literally have a machete at my house. You want to go macheteing? Let's go. Come on.
I don't take criticism.
Do you have your list? Do you have your list?
I don't take criticism very well. I'll put my hands up. I'm terrible.
Okay, yeah.
And, I'm going to be honest about that. But
Okay.
did you get to know the judges well?
Yes. Randy, he's a bass player, right? He was a bass player for Journey.
Right.
And he even picked up my bass and showed me a couple techniques as well. And then I remember I was on the American Idol tour right after the show had finished. And he came to one of the shows and he's like, I want to make your record. So he executive produced my record.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and he flew me to London and I worked at Kensington Studios with Martin Treffi and made my first album with him.
I know Martin very well.
You know him?
Yes. I
He's
used to have a
insane.
studio across the road from his studio in Kensal Road.
Yeah.
A place called Canalot Production Studios.
Is it in the same?
It was just across the road. It's a place called Canalot. But his is I could see his studio from mine.
Okay. Is he
Martin
still there?
Yeah, he's still there.
Dang,
Yeah,
okay.
He's still there, man.
Is he still on the third?
Oh, actually, he may have moved since then. But,
Okay. Scarbeck? Sasha Scarbeck? You know
yes,
him too?
Sasha.
Okay.
Well, they all work with a friend of mine called Jeff Cohen, who's
Okay.
a songwriter from American Songwriter.
Oh,
who's
okay.
I'm going to see next week.
Oh, cool.
Did loads of hits, but amazing songwriter.
Him, Sasha, and Martin.
Yeah.
We wrote one of my favorite songs called Stuck in London. And it was about my experience there. That's so crazy.
Because I was just trying to think of the Toby Gad. You worked with Toby Gad as well, didn't you?
Yes, yeah, we wrote a song and we
Simple Life.
Yeah. So that was
Great
pretty crazy.
tune, by the way.
Thank you.
That's
Thanks
a
for listening.
fantastic song.
I love that song.
I actually saw Toby I went to his birthday party in March, and it's his birthday in London, and he sung a lot of the songs. I'm pretty sure he sung Simple Life as well.
No way.
And he had different singers getting up singing his tunes.
Yes, yeah.
It was brilliant, man. He had some great singers on.
He is just a go-getter, and he's just, what's the next thing? What's the
He
next
did John
thing?
Legend, All of Me, and
Right.
Beyonce, If I Were a Boy.
Right, and Fergie, Big Girls Don't Cry, and I redid a song that he had done with Kobe Calais called I Do, and I'd heard that all over like wedding commercials. So like it's crazy, and he's doing documentaries.
Yeah.
he's a surfer. He's a
He's a
windsurfer.
hustler, man. He's,
Yeah,
like him.
I love him. Yeah, no, and we go hiking a lot. You know, we actually, he lives close to the Hollywood sign.
That's right.
I drive up to his place, we have dinner, and we hike up to the Wisdom Tree is what it's called in LA, and then we hike back down. He's a great person. But I love that song, and I try to keep it as a mantra. It's hard because I love my cell phone, but it's about you don't need no TV, don't need no phone.
Don't need no TV.
I don't need no phone. Don't need a speedy
It's a
car.
great
to
pop
get me
song,
in.
man.
All I need is the simple life. Yeah, thank you.
That's
you.
really.
man.
I think it's a world-class song. I'm not just saying that.
I appreciate you. I appreciate
And
you saying
as I said, yeah, he's a world-class writer. Do you still write together now? Do you get it?
Yes, we actually wrote a song and we ended up using that song that we never put out and we gave it to his daughter May May and we released it and now it's on the XM charts and it's really cool. But no, we have a couple writing sessions scheduled and I'm really excited to write with him again. He's world class.
Yeah, he's from Germany.
Right.
Yeah, das ist gut.
That's good. Yeah. Hello. I am the Toby God. Yeah.
He's so cute,
we always make fun of him, and I sometimes do it to his face. I think he's okay with it, and even his daughter does it too.
He's got a great podcast as well. Because I spoke to him about maybe.
I'm on it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's going to come out at some point.
Well, we should try and get him on this because I'd love him on this, and maybe I could be on his show.
Yes.
Maybe we could hook that up because I spoke to his manager at the time and said, look, maybe we could do a little transference thing here because I love to show and I like, how.
He might be in London right now. You should reach out to him.
Yeah, I will. I've got his manager's email address.
Okay.
So maybe we could hook it up. We'll talk about that later.
He's fun. He's creative, and I'm glad he's doing that podcast. It's cool.
So just going back to American Idol. So you worked with Jack Black.
Ooh.
You did a duet with Jack Black. I mean, that must have been fantastic.
That was insane. I cannot believe that even happened. They said, who would you want to duet if you had to duet with someone on the finale? I said, Esperanza Spalding. Do you know her?
Yeah, sure.
And I don't know, Jack Black. And the producers at the time were like, the actor? I was like, yeah, do you guys not know Tenacious D? so I said that. And I remember the producers were like, I think Jack's going to do it. I was like, what? That's insane. That's like the coolest thing. I remember getting on a call to decide what song. He originally wanted to do the Double Rainbow song, which was this auto-tune the news. Have you ever seen that video where the guy's freaking out because he's seeing a double rainbow?
Yes, yeah.
He's like, whoa, what does it mean, man? I'm sure he was high. But then they did a song, Double Rainbow all the way across the sky. Wow, wow, oh my God, what does it mean? And so he wanted to do that. And I look back and part of me regrets not doing that song. But the producers, I got to give them credit. They're like, what do Queen song, Fat Bottom Girls. It's like, okay. And so I'm glad we did that one. And
they make the rocking world go round.
Exactly. Yeah, see, Oddly enough, at the time, we actually wanted, part of the discussion was like, let's have fat bottom girls. Let's have bigger ladies come out on bicycles.
Right.
And they're like, we love it. And then at the end, at the last minute, it's like, we can't do big women. It has to be skinnier women, or else it might be offensive. But now in 2025, I think they would do it in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? It's more inclusive. But yeah, they had fat bottom girls come out on bicycles and start dance with us. But no, I remember the very first call with Jack Black.
That must have been surreal.
Oh, it was insane. I remember they're like, all right, we're gonna have a conference call, and so I got on the phone, and they're like, hi, this is Jeff with 19 Entertainment. Hi, this is this person with here. I am with American Idol. And then I remember Jack was like, whoa, there's a lot of people on this call, man. What's going on? You know what I mean? And I was like, wow, this is a very down-to-earth guy, And he was like, I was thinking about the Double Rainbow, and I was like, Jack, it was so weird to actually have a conversation. We were talking about there's so many people that have yes people all around them.
Yeah.
Even if he does, he's so open to suggestions, and that's the salt of the earth, down to earth kind of guy. And I was like, well, we were thinking, maybe doing Fat Bottom Girls. He's like, I like that even better. And he's like, no matter what happens, Casey, whatever we do on that stage, it's gonna be a double complete rainbow, man. And I was like, that's a way to tie things together. And when I first met him, I remember I was sitting in one of the green rooms at CBS Studios. And I remember someone's like, Jack is in the building. He's coming up. And I remember he came out, he came into the room. He had his sunglasses on. And he just literally lifted up his shirt and just started doing a belly dance for me. And he was just like, and I remember, I was like, what is, and then I gave him a hug. I hugged his belly. And I talked to him. I talked to him later. He's like, I don't know. I felt like that was the best way to enter the room.
To make you feel
I'll
at
always
ease.
remember that. Yeah. And then I was like, hey, can we do a Tenacious D song? He's like, yeah. And we did. I love you, baby, but all I can think about is kielbasa sausage. My butt cheeks is warm. And we did that. We did that song. And I remember he's like, he's very loyal. I was like, let's do a Tenacious D song on stage. He's like, that's more me and Kyle Gass, the other Tenacious
Sure.
D members thing. I was like, that's really nice. So that was an insane experience, and we talked about video games and Idlewild. He had actually been to Idlewild at a summer camp when he was a little
Wow.
kid.
Okay.
And to this day, man, he supports me and really is constantly looking out, and just the nicest guy. And the fact that he's getting more famous and more famous, it makes me so happy. The Minecraft movie, come on,
Sure, yeah.
you know what I mean? What was that before? He did something else before that too. He's doing a lot of things. He's Bowser. He's Bowser and Mario. Like he's a dream because he can do Tenacious D. A song like FHG. I'll let you fill in the spaces of what
Sure.
that song is called. But then he can go and do a kids movie. It's like beautiful.
So, I mean, it's great to hear that he was everything you'd hoped he'd be. Because, there's that
Meet
old
your
saying,
idols, meet your idols,
don't
yeah.
meet your idols.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? So, exactly. But, I'm a huge fan myself. And
Yeah.
I remember, I think we were talking about earlier on, I had this friend of mine, and we fell out over this, actually. And we were talking about School of Rock, and he said, I don't like that movie. I was like, you have no soul. How can you not like School of Rock? It's like, it said everything about, it's like, you know what? You and me can't be friends anymore.
Good. Yeah. I hope
How
you
can you
block
not
them, please.
love
Yeah.
that movie? It's everything that a fun comedy movie should be about
It started
music.
a
Come on.
revolution. Yeah.
And he's just and was he like that, the character in real life? Is he like that?
He is like that. In fact, when we were practicing for Fat Bottom Girls,
Right.
for the finale, he went over to the guitarist, my buddy Tony Polizzi, who I'm still friends with today, and he said, "Can I borrow your guitar?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he took it, he put it on himself. He's like, "I'm not gonna play guitar, but can you do something like this?" And he went, do 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 do. I was like, "Wait a second, something's wrong," and then he tuned it. He did a drop D. And then he's like, "Oh, no." He's like, "Can you do like kind of this thing?" And then Tony was like, "All right, yeah, I'll do it like that, Jack." And then gave it back to him. And I talk to Tony these days. He's like, "That was an amazing moment. The fact that Jack Black touched my guitar, But he was literally like, "Let's have it like this. Let's do this. Let's do this." In fact, we were just gonna be on stage singing together, and then we were like, "What if we had a guitar? What if we had a couch?" And I was hiding behind the couch, And so, like, it's just fun. Like, he's having a good time. He's being creative. And
You feel he's on your side.
you feel, yeah, exactly. And he's teaching you, but not only is he teaching you, you're having fun. And it's not like having... Same thing applies to my bass teacher, Marshall Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I want to be your cheerleader. Like, I feel like there's drill sergeant teachers. They're okay for like classical and, maybe
Yeah.
some jazz. But then there's cheerleader teachers that it's like, yes, you're doing the right thing all the time. And that's what Marshall is, and that's what Jack Black is.
So where was this in the process? You did the collaboration with him. Was it towards the end?
Yes, yeah. Well, I'd already got voted out.
Okay.
So I was 6th place on American Idol. And so, we did a couple interviews. I was lucky enough to go on the Ellen show. In fact...
Sorry, just going back a bit though. You got, wasn't it a point where you got voted out earlier, but then got brought back in?
Yes, yeah. I was 11th place, and they voted me out, and the judges used their save.
Ooh.
Yes, yeah. So
okay.
I was really lucky. I feel blessed to just even have that experience and have this lifestyle. I'm very blessed, and so the fact that. There's like, all right, and going home is Casey. I was like, oh man, my life flashed before my eyes. And I remember I was started to sing my swan song, and then the judges were like, stop. I was like, what? And they're like, we're keeping you on. I was like, oh, thank God. Like, it was the greatest moment.
So you got the tour then?
I got to tour, yeah. And that was crazy because usually it's top 10, but they liked this group of people, my constituents. Is that a word? Is that, or my
Contestant buddies. Fellow buddies.
Yeah. And so then they made that announcement. They were like, all right, well, Casey, you're still in, and the top 11 are now going to tour. So I was like, oh, wow, I get to tour the United States. But
That's a stadium
I was
tour,
that
isn't
close. Yeah, I was that close to not making it. So I was like... And then I think I made it 5 more weeks. I made it from 11 to 6. And so I feel very blessed to have had that. And then when I got voted off 6th place, I was fine. I was like, man, you could have voted me off couple, I could have gone home at 11 and been fine, but the fact that I made it to 6, and then I did my real swan song where I was kissing everyone in the audience and hugging everyone and high-fiving everyone and rolling around on the stage. It felt good.
And was there a camaraderie between you and the other contestants?
Yes, in fact, I still am constantly singing with Haley Reinhart, who she made it to 3rd place, but she sang with Tony Bennett. I sang with Jack Black, she sang with Tony Bennett, and so like I'm constantly. She was on my first album, I was on her first album, and then we're constantly on each other's albums. I just did the Dave Cause cruise with her, and now we're doing the Dave Cause Christmas tour with him. And then we're doing the cruise next year. I was her bass player for a little bit. She was my singer for a little bit. So like we're constantly hanging out.
You and Haley, ever that sort of thing going on there?
I'll
Come on, give us the dirt here, man.
What was that?
You and Haley,
Yeah,
ever a thing?
We had some fun at one point. Yeah. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it out of respect for her. But no, we've had some fun times. Yeah,
Brilliant.
On and off the road for sure.
But it's nice to know that it just because obviously when it stops, like the train, the American Idol train stops. It's
tough.
quite a strange thing, isn't it?
It's tough. I mean, I cried right after I got voted off. I remember being at the Jay Leno show and just crying. I'm like, where are the cameras? I want cameras. You know what I mean? Because it was almost therapeutic. American Idol, I said that you're working a week for that minute and a half, but they're filming every single part of it. Whether or not they use it I don't know. But the fact that they're constantly, all right, Casey, so you just worked with this producer. How do you feel? Just like therapy. It's like it is a therapy session. And so the fact that I didn't have that anymore, who do I talk to? It's like I could talk to this guy, like all these cameras and that one right there. And you have people to talk to, but then now the cameras are gone and I'm like, you miss it. Like I can only imagine what the Kardashians are going through when they're not on camera. It just must be a hard lifestyle. So I had to get used to that after being the center of the tension, thinking I'm having my ego stroked for those whole times. So I really had that coming back down to earth was hard. It's hard.
And did the phone stop ringing for a while? Straight after it, or was it? Because you're on these. It's like being in major record deals, and if you get dropped, like all of a sudden nobody answers the phone anymore, and you have to build yourself up again and figure a way to navigate through the next part of your life, and that can be quite difficult when you're in the bubble of American Idol and just being you're taken along with the momentum of everything, and then all of a sudden it's down to you to create the momentum on your own.
That's the hardest thing as well, especially after American Idol. I was lucky enough to work with Concord Records, which actually Paul McCartney was a part of for a little bit. I love that record. Right. Yeah, he did like some jazz stuff. But that was the one that Randy Jackson produced.
And Toby did the co-write with Simple Life on that record?
Correct, yeah. And that was one of the songs that we wrote in L.A. And I think I just laid down some bass at Kensington Studios. And so that's the one that Martin Treffy produced. Yeah. But that was... so I remember my first tour, there was a couple good venues, but I remember there was one spot in Chicago where there was about 6 people that showed up to my actual show right after American Idol. And that was sad, and I went from like tour, 4 tour buses and 6 trucks to
Stadiums.
My mom's minivan, to touring. And then I built myself up. And then you get dropped by the label, and then you're like, well, how do I tour now? I don't know what to do. You get dropped by your booking agent. You got dropped by your lawyer. You get dropped by your business manager. I got a house that I was renting for way too much money, but then you lose that because you're like, I don't know. Like I'm rich and famous. Like why aren't people calling me? Like, I have to go out and do the thing. I have to. You can't just sit there and that's what American Idol, that's what it kind of spoiled you because you sit there, they're like, all right, Casey, you're going here now. All right, this celebrity wants to talk to you. Right. And then as soon as you get off the show, it's like, why isn't this, come on, celebrities, where are you? And so thankfully I had Postmodern Jukebox and they hit me up. And then that was kind of like the second coming of American Idol and why I feel like I'm actually here because I toured with them in Prague 4 times, I was able to come here and be myself,
Before we
So-
get on to that, can
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
go back onto American Idol, the last bit of the
Yeah,
story?
absolutely.
Because it must crush some people. Did you see other contestants really being crushed by it?
Absolutely, yeah. There's some people that are completely out of the game now. That I feel really blessed.
Because you're a tough cookie, you can
Thanks.
take the knocks, and I admire that in you.
Appreciate that.
Because it takes a lot of balls to get up there and do it. You just do the competition, and then to have the fight in you to fight your way through to the next period in your life. It's not for the
Right.
faint-hearted, let's be honest. And
Right.
I think that's the one thing, if people out there watching the show thinking, I'll give it a go, you better be tough. You better be able to take the knocks, because
Right.
it can be crushing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think it's out of necessity, to be honest, because that's the only thing I'm really good at. I know music. I know how to make people smile, and that's really I wish I could read more, but I can read, but I don't enjoy reading books.
Sure.
I play video games. I feel like a little kid, and I think that really helps the music. But that's the only job that I think I'm fit for, and I think that I was brought on this earth to do. So it's like, what am I gonna do? Just sit at my house and just not do anything? And it's like, no, I got to go out there and make music. I think it's for them, and it's also for me. It's healing, So it's definitely hurt some people, but. A lot of my fellow contestants, I can name all the people. In fact, my buddy Jacob Lusk, who is a part of this group called Gabriel's, he's killing it. He's opened up for Elton John. Stefano, my buddy, who I make these videos that have gone viral, where he's cooking and I'm singing in the kitchen.
Right.
He's just played with Stevie Wonder. He just played with Babyface. The winner, Scott. Everyone's killing it. Everyone's having a good time, and Haley's even playing with Robbie Krieger.
Great.
Yeah. So
On
like
the Doors.
everyone's doing really cool things, and I think that also keeps me going. It's like, oh, okay, wow. This guy just played with this famous guy, and Paul McDonald just played the Grand Ole Opry. Okay, well, maybe I can play the Troubadour, and I did. It's like those crazy things. It's good. And then some people, they just decide not to do it anymore. And that's completely fine, but it's not for them. Some of them have kids, they have to. But my buddy James Durbin, he has 3 kids, and he's still doing it. And I don't know how he does it. He's an amazing guy, but he's a rock star, and he fronted Quiet Riot for a little bit. So
Okay.
crazy, yeah. So he's meant to do it. If you're meant to do it, you're meant to do it.
So it was all in all a positive experience for you.
So good, yeah. And even some of the people that are successful today, they did not have a positive experience. A couple of my fellow people in the top 11, I won't name names, but they're like, man, I was in the bottom 3 this time. This person was yelling at me constantly. Like, I just did not have a positive experience. But then as soon as I got out, I had a good time. But I think even it's going to shape you, and that's always going to be a positive experience. Every bad experience I had on the show, it shaped me.
How did it shape you?
It made me a tough cookie. It really did. In fact, I was actually going through health issues. I missed one of the shows because I was in the hospital. I remember it was a vote-off round, so I remember being in the hospital surrounded by nurses watching the TV, and they're like, Casey, you're safe from, hope you're good, doing well in the hospital. But scheduling doctor's appointments, I was, like, there's a lot of crying going on, but I remember, like, there was one time I would, I had a doctor's appointment scheduled, but then they scheduled a rehearsal for that same time period. And so they're like, Casey, you have to reschedule the doctor's appointment. So I did it. And then I had to do a taping for something else. And then I was just like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to schedule my own thing. And I remember crying to the wrangler, I don't know, the contestant wrangler, and saying, this is too much. I don't know how to work this out. And so it really I had to get organized, that's what really shaped me. And just how to take, how to just keep going. That's really what it did.
So you kept in touch with all the other contestants and the judges. Have you kept in touch with them?
I just hit up Randy Jackson the other day, and we he was asking for.
So that's good. They take the call.
Yeah, they cool. I don't have Steven Tyler's number. I don't have JLo's number, but.
I'll tell them you're asking for them.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, you know what? JLo though, actually, she recently commented on Stefano and I's video. She just sent a heart. And I was like, wow, because I fancied her for a little bit. I kissed her on the cheek for one of the shows. The producers egged me on to do it, but it felt good to, like, communicate with them, you know.
So who hooked up the Postmodern Jukebox gig?
My friend Jacob Cesny, who went to Idlewild Arts. And so he was playing with Scott Bradley, who is the CEO and the creator of Postmodern Jukebox. He's like, dude, you do this in your spare time. You make songs. What Postmodern Jukebox is basically, let's take new songs, make them sound like they're from the 30s, 40s, 50s.
Jazz them up.
Jazz them up, exactly. And so he's like, you do this already. Why don't you just hang out with this guy? And so I remember I hung out with them. They had a residency in LA, and I showed up, and they're like, I called him as I was driving. He's like, do you know any songs that are popular? I said, I know the Sam Smith song, I'm Not the Only One.
Right.
And he's like, let's jazz it up tonight. And we just went in, didn't even rehearse for like 30 seconds. And we played it, and then we made a video out of it, and then that turned into a big hit. And then I did Stacy's Mom. And
Sweet Child of Mine.
Yep.
Umbrella.
Yep.
Sweet Child of Mine I love, by the way.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
it's kind of honky tonk with that upright piano with the
Right.
brass, and you kind of sing it like Louis Armstrong meets Howling Wolf, which I love your
Thanks,
vocal on that.
man.
It's really
Thank
great.
you.
I mean, it's very different.
Yeah.
I think you did a great job. And Umbrella as well is very different, but
Yeah.
I love the whole kind of liveness of it, like it was recorded in a speakeasy or something.
Right, yeah.
But because they've kind of franchised it now, haven't they? They've kind of made lots of groups of it. But early
Right.
days, it was just the one,
It
wasn't it?
was just the one, and I got to tour with the second coming, where they did a Europe tour, and then they did a second Europe tour, and I was a part of that. And, so
And your
was Haley.
first gig was in Belfast.
Yes, yeah.
See, I did my research.
Yeah, good research. Yes, absolutely. And
That must have
Belfast
been
was
fun
awesome.
because they're a fun audience in
Oh,
Belfast.
they're insane. I remember that. It was insane because I felt bad for everyone else, but I had just played and they were asking for an encore, and I walked out on stage and they said, Casey. I was like,
Right.
whoa, I'm back in it again. This is
Back in the game.
Yeah, exactly. And then from there, I think I'd been to England twice in my life. But yeah, I went from Belfast to Dublin to all these places, London, and then like Amsterdam. That was my first time ever seeing Amsterdam and France. Like so crazy to see all this stuff just because of Postmodern Jukebox. So I have Jacob Cesny to thank, who also plays with all these amazing people. He's a great saxophone player, and he's
It
still
must have been
part of
great to be in a band as well.
Yeah.
Like the pressure's off a little bit. You know what I mean? You're part of the band. It's not all down to you. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. It's like if they lose money, I still get paid, man. Yeah. So and you get to travel on a tour bus, and that was so cool to be a part of that and see the world just with real music as well, because during the American Idol tour, there's parts of it where you have to wear in-ears and you hear 1, 2, 3, 4 in your ears. But this is literally, you count it off, 1, 2, and then the band goes with you. You can solo as long as you want. It's real music, so that's really beautiful.
Any artist you'd love to collaborate with?
I already did Jack Black, so you know what? Yeah, I'd like to do a Lipa.
Yeah,
Dua
great.
Lipa, Sabrina Carpenter. I'd love to. I love both of their songs. I actually covered a version of Espresso, which is the Sabrina Carpenter song.
Huge tune, yeah.
And then Dua Lipa, I'd love to do like just a stripped down thing where I'm playing bass and they're singing. I'd love to do something like that.
And writer-wise, is there any writers out there you'd love to work with?
I actually know him. I'd like to work with Joey Dosick, and he is a part of this really cool band called Wolfpack. Have you heard of that band?
Yeah, sure,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. And I'd like to work with him because he writes some really good songs. Yeah, and maybe I'll hit him up after this.
Yeah, why not? It's all because you've done a lot of collabs over the years with different female singers on the album, so
Right.
you enjoy a good collab.
I love a good collab. Yeah, and I love writing. I need some. I like writing songs by myself, but I think it's really good to bounce ideas off of people.
Just a fun question.
Yeah.
Best gig, worst gig. Like best gig and then worst gig where everything went slightly wrong or terribly wrong.
Best gig there's been a bunch, man. I played the Jazz Cafe in London last year. That was
It's a great gig, man.
insane, and it felt I like feeling like I'm at a rock concert, even though it's just me and my upright bass. And Toby Gad was at that one. He came up and I sang All of Me, and we did Simple Life as well, and had a great tap dancer, Adele. Her name's Adele. I forgot her last name, Adele Joel, and it was great, and like it just everything came together. The Rhodes that they had on the stage, it wasn't working, so they had a Rhodes technician come up And he started playing. I was like, that's really good. Do you want to be part of the gig tonight? And he did it. It was so good.
Great.
So yeah, that was a really good. It was like it was probably the biggest crowd I've ever played to, like 500 people, like for my own shows, for my own original musics. That was the best one. Worst one. I really want to think about that.
Where everything just went a little wrong, or a big wrong.
Huh. There was one. There was a Postmodern Jukebox one where I just felt like I wasn't on my game, and it was in Thousand Oaks, and I think there's like 2,000 people, 2,500 people, and everything was just going wrong. And I think, to be honest, I had invited the director of American Idol. We're still close.
Right.
And he was in the audience. I think I was really nervous, which I'm never nervous. But for some reason, it was like a full circle moment where he was there. I was dating a girl, and she was there on the side. And I feel like I was just... And you know what? Back in the day, I'm sober now, but I was lighting up everything in sight. And, you know, I was getting really high, really drunk. And I just felt like, I remember I was going to sing this song, it was Africa by Toto, the Postmodern Jukebox version. And I remember I was walking out on stage. I was like, oh, wait, let me get my sunglasses, my sparkly sunglasses. So I started to run to my dressing room. I'd forgotten that it was such a big space. My dressing room was on the floor down below it. So I like ran down the stairs, and I'm literally hearing them saying, all right, ladies and gentlemen, Casey Abrams. I was like, what do I do? Like, do I grab my sunglasses? I was like halfway in between grabbing. So I went to grab them. I went out on stage. I was like, I put the sunglasses on, and it was like, it wasn't even worth it because the people, like, I came out with my sunglasses, huffing and puffing. And I looked at the audience, and then they were like, okay. Yeah, they're like, yeah. Yeah, it didn't go well. And I remember Scott Bradley was there, and he was just like, "What are you doing, dude?" You know, it felt good. I want to talk about Amsterdam as well. That was one of my favorite gigs. Are we allowed to talk about drugs, huh?
Yeah, talk about anything we want.
That was one of my. I had taken mushrooms before, but that was my first time taking mushrooms in Europe.
Amsterdam.
Yeah. And so I remember I was high for the performance, and I remember walking out on stage and seeing every single eyeball, and it was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And we had been doing the UK this whole time, where there was a barrier, you know, like so
Sure.
I couldn't, you know, like you'd walk out on stage, and so like if I was here, I couldn't even reach out and touch you. You were like over there.
Right.
But when I came out in Amsterdam, like there was hands literally touching my feet. I was like, whoa. And I started high-fiving everyone. They said, Casey. And I remember I was like, there was another song where they introduced me. And I remember I was like, I was feeling creative. I saw that there was one of these wheelie boards hanging up. Like, ladies and gentlemen, Casey Abrams. So I grabbed this board. It's kind of like a skateboard. And I went down on it. And I kind of like, I don't know if you can... I started to do this. I started to, I was right here, and then I started to just like swim out, like pushing myself out, and people were like, no, it was crazy. And then I remember everyone in the audience was like, "What's going?" They weren't laughing. So then I got up, and then I went up to the microphone, and I was like, "Thank you, good night." And then I started to walk off. And then the audience started to applaud. And they're like, no, Casey, you have to sing. I was like, oh, okay. And then I started to play it. And I was like, just one of the most amazing moments. I'm glad I took that risk. You got to take risks. Yeah. So that was a really good, that was at the Paradiso in Amsterdam.
Funny you talked about the Jazz Cafe being one of your favorite gigs. We had Rag and Bone Man on the podcast a couple of weeks ago.
Rag and Ball Man?
Yeah, on the podcast.
Okay.
And it was amazing. And his favorite gig, one of his favorite gigs he's ever done, was at the Jazz Cafe as well.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's
So,
a good place.
it's
good
great
sound.
vibe.
I mean, it's hard to mic and properly get a good sound out of an upright bass. And I think that they really tuned it in. They're just, there's no bullshit. Can I
Yeah,
speak
of course you can.
And they're just like, let's just get a good sound. They're chill, and it's just good energy. I feel like I think Europe in general and the UK is just it's just everyone. There's a greater appreciation over here that I dig.
Yeah. So going back to music again and influences, anybody at the moment, young artists that you're listening to that you really like?
Man, for some reason, I have this. There's a very funny, like, I want to say, artist, a visual artist. His name's Joe Kappa, and he does the weirdest videos you've ever seen. Like, just kind of a little disgusting, but very funny. And he did a music video for this band called Fox Warren. I don't know. I'd never.
sure.
You heard of them?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'd never heard of them, and they have this really cool song called Deadhead, and I really want to cover it. But I've been listening to that song and their album for a while. They're really good. Wolfpack. I went to their concert in L.A. Last year, and they just put out their album, and it's a live album. And I was at the taping. They did 2 nights in LA. I went to the second night, and they ended up using those takes for that exact for their album. So I listened to that over and over again. That's really good. It's Wolfpack. I've never been like a super fan, and now I think I am a super fan because they played some songs that I knew that night, but then they also played a whole album worth of new songs I'd never heard, and I love all of them. I was like, how is that possible? So Wolfpack, I've been listening to a lot, and I constantly listen to Stevie Wonder, no matter what. I'm constantly finding new songs that he's made. So.
And you mentioned Dua Lipa on the pop side as well, who you'd love to do a duet with.
Yes, yeah. Don't look back. She's got any songs that has a good bass line, I'm gonna like. And Espresso's got that as well. But Dua Lipa's what's that called? Did a full 180? Or what's that song called? It's called Don't Look Back, and she did another one too. I'll think of it at some point. But yeah, Dua Lipa is awesome.
So how do you think your relationship with music has changed since the beginning to now?
My whole thing is don't be a serious person, but be a serious musician. So take the music seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously. And I've been trying to live by that, and not, make sure you're playing the actual music. Don't mess it up, but have fun and if you do mess up, don't be angry, and be goofy. Play the upright bass upside down. Go into the audience. Break the rules. But that's also the beautiful thing about music. You can't break the rules. If you break the rules, learn the rules to break them. That's really what it is. But since the beginning, I think I've learned to hold notes longer. I think I'll say that.
You've learned how to breathe.
Yeah. Yeah, my lungs have gotten a little bit bigger. Yeah.
If you were to give anyone advice who is thinking about going on American Idol, what would it be?
Choose the right songs, and choose a
That
well-known.
work well for you, for your voice. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But choose a well-known song, but not an obvious song. So it's a really hard balance. And eye contact. You got to always look the judges in the eye and believe what you're doing. That's what I would say.
Okay. And what do you think you got out of American Idol at the end of it all?
The confidence, definitely. The bravery, the fact that I can now go to the Troubadour or go to the Jazz Cafe and be able to just be like, here I am, and not be afraid to make a mistake. And if I do make a mistake, just keep going, because it's that live TV mentality.
So tell us something about you that nobody knows. Something that nobody knows about you. Have you got any strange hobbies? Great hobbies? It's got to be something.
Okay. Good at balancing things on my finger.
Really?
Yeah, you want to see?
Yeah, come on, show us something.
Can I do this?
Take
live?
anything you want.
Here. Is this okay?
Yeah, guitar, yeah. It's only worth about $10,000.
Is it really? Oh wait, this is yours? It's plugged in, I see.
No, it's not mine, but it's quite expensive. But I'm sure you can be trusted. I think it's an old, is it an old Taylor? It's a Gibson, yeah. It's an old Gibson. Drum roll, yeah.
Yep. Okay. So this, for some reason, I feel like I have a really good balance. I can do anything. And I can even, yep, keep looking at it, and I'll even spin around so you can see.
That's quite impressive, I have to admit.
Thank you. I can even do it on my foot, but I'll do it on something else.
Well done. Great stuff.
Thanks, man.
So
Yeah, I
balancing
guess-
stuff so you can always get a job in the circus.
Yeah,
if it's,
I don't know if that's a hobby, but that's something I don't show a lot. Yeah.
Moving into the future, what's next?
An album, a Grammy-winning album. That's what's gonna happen. Yes, and I have a bunch of songs that I'm working on that are ready to go. I'm gonna write a couple more, and yeah, just one more album, and I'm gonna tour with that. More original songs.
Jazz-based, pop-based?
Jazz rock. That's what I call the genre. Jazz rock.
And who are you writing with for that? Is it on your own? Or?
Yeah, I have some on my own. I've worked with one of my friends called Dylan Chambers. He's also on the Dave Koz cruise. Some songs with Haley Reinhart and some other really great songwriters. And I'm gonna work with Toby. Then we'll put something out. Yeah, and so yeah, just a whole bunch of different songwriters. There's also a song that I really like that I wrote with Sasha Skarbek as well that I think I'm going to put out. I'm going to ask his permission. So
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And live shows? More live shows
More
coming
live
up?
shows, yeah. Got a whole thing in September with my friend Dylan Chambers and Hunter. This really great musician girl who is a singer/model. She's amazing. And then I'm planning to do another Europe tour. I might go to South America. I've never been there, and I might do a couple shows there. And yeah, just a couple more shows, live shows, and
You're heading up to Belfast tonight, aren't you, to do the show?
no, Dublin.
Sorry, Dublin. Yeah,
I'm going.
My
Yeah,
hometown.
so yeah, doing Dublin tomorrow and London 2 days after that. I fly back, do some songwriting sessions, and then just I have some more songwriting sessions, and then I do the shows in September. I have a couple of shows in on the East Coast of America, and then we're gonna plan next year coming back here and doing some more stuff here.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Listen, thanks for being on the show. It's been amazing.
Thank
but
you.
last but not least, could you sing us a couple of tunes?
Only if you
And then-
sing with me.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm happy to do one or two.
Ready?
Yeah, I think so.
I think yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think it'll be all right. Just for a thrill, you change the sunshine to rain. Just for a thrill, you fill my heart with so much pain. To me, you were my pride and joy. But to you, I was nearly a toy. A plaything that you could toss around at will. Just for a thrill. You made my life one sad song. Just for a thrill. You just let me alone. Although you're free in having your fun, to me you're still the only one. 'Cause darling, you make my heart stand still. And just for a thrill.
having your fun. To me, you're still the only one. 'Cause darling, you made my heart stand still. Well, it was just for a thrill. And darling, you made my heart stand still just for a thrill.
Yes, good stuff. Good stuff, man. Nice. I like that one. Good. All right.
You have my heart, it will never be worlds apart. I may be in magazines, but you'll still be my star. Baby, 'cause in the dark, you can't see my shiny car. And that's when you need me there. With you, I'll always share. Because when the sun shines, we shine together. You know I'll be here forever. Said I'll always be your friend. Took an oath, stick it out to the end. Now that it's raining more than ever, know that we still have each other. You can stand under my umbrella. You can stand under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, eh, eh, eh. Under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, eh, 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 eh. These fancy things will never come in between. You're part of my entity. You're to infinity. When the world has took its part, when the world has dealt its cards, if the hand is really hard, together we'll mend your heart. Because when the sun shines, we shine together. You know I'll be here forever. Said I'll always be your friend. Stick an oath and I'll stick it out to the end. Now that it's raining more than ever, know that we still have each other. You can stand under my umbrella. You can stand under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, eh, eh, eh. Under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, eh, 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 eh. You can run into my arms. It's okay, don't be alarmed. Come into me, there's no distance in between our love. I'm gonna let the rain pour. I'll be all you need and more. 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 Because when the sun shines, we shine together. You know I'll be here forever. Said I'll always be your friend. Took an oath and I stick it out to the end. Now that it's raining more than ever, know that we still have each other. You can stand under my umbrella. You can stand under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, eh, 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 eh. Under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, eh, 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 eh. Under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, eh, 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 eh. Under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, eh. Bum, gum, 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 gum. Umbrella.
All right. And then Georgia.
Other arms may reach out to me. Other eyes are gonna smile tenderly. Though in peaceful dreams I see the road leads back to you. And Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Yeah.
I said, Georgia, Georgia, a song of you comes as sweet and clear as moonlight through the pines. Other arms reach out to me, other eyes smile tenderly. Still in peaceful dreams I see. Oh, the road leads back to you.
Keep going, baby.
I said, Georgia,
Georgia,
Georgia, no peace I find. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia, Georgia, no peace I find. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
I'll tell you what I say, yeah. I said, Georgia, ooh, in Georgia, a song of you. It's so sweet and so clear, like moonlight through the pines. Take it to the bridge, rock.
Other arms reach out to me, other eyes smile tenderly. Still in peaceful dreams I see. Oh, the road leads back to you.
I said, Georgia, what you say? Give it to me, Georgia. Oh, this song of you, it's so old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
Georgia on my mind.
Just an old sweet song. Give it to me.
Georgia on my mind. There you go. Thank you so much, Casey.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. That was good. Good singing with you. I'm gonna brag about that, man. So good.
Thank you.
Your voice is awesome, man. Yeah. Do you know, Woo! My bass is getting high, bro.